So we are going to go ahead and get started. Again, I want to thank everybody who took time today to be here. And we put this together pretty quickly because we had heard about so many people working remotely, not sure what to do. And so I greatly appreciate everybody on my team here at Perry Productions and Lisa Perry Social who helped pull this together, as well as Allison and the folks at the Chamber in Cabarrus County here who helped promote this for us as well. So let's go ahead and get started. So, for those of you who don't know me, my name is Lisa Perry. I am a proud mother of two teenage sons and wife of Brian. We've been married for 26 years and in business together for 25. So, he and I spend a lot of time together. And we love it that way. So we get along great. In fact, we're thinking about doing a video about how to cope when you're stuck at home with your spouse because we've got 25 years of experience doing just that. Also, picture I include here is of my dog Dodger. He's an awesome border collie who's dealing with isolation too, although apparently dogs are immune, I hear. So very good for Dodger. And I always include a picture of our office, which is a very cool historic house in downtown Concord, where we operate from and have for about the past 3 years. Before that, we worked from home for over 20 years. A little bit about my business. Brian and I, my husband, have owned Perry Productions, like I said, for 25 years. We are a digital marketing and website development agency. We have a great team of Perry pros that help us bring great marketing to our clients, develop websites. We were the 2016 Small Business of the Year. We were very proud of that. I'm very involved in my local chamber. I serve on the board, love supporting and being a voice for small business. Recently, we also last year launched Lisa Perry Social, which is a new brand for our company, and it is totally online learning. One of the things that we realized is that not everybody can afford to hire a marketing agency. I do lots of free best practice webinars, but folks need to dive deeper. And so we have started offering online courses, um, lots of free blogs and downloads and things like that, free resources, as well as paid resources through Lisa Perry Social. So that is a little bit about what I do. But I want everybody to pause a moment because if you saw the marketing for this, you know that today I am in a bit of mourning. That normally this weekend in March, I am watching basketball. March Madness, I'm crazy about it. These are some fun pictures of me that I found way back in the day, many years ago. I was a basketball player. Brian absolutely loves this crazy picture of me from middle school. Look at that hair. This was a cutout trophy that I had. I always look at how thin my thighs are. Look at that. I mean, those legs. But this is quite the 80s outfit right here. And then these other couple pictures. This was a charity event I played in against a group similar to the Harlem Globetrotters. And you can see me trying to block this very tall gentleman. I am not afraid of anybody, even though I'm only 5'3". So, but like I said, this time of year, I'm definitely feeling some remorse for basketball. As you can see, I've met Dick Vitale. That was a highlight for me. A couple other March Madness moments was when I picked Mercer to take down Duke, which was a very, very exciting thing. And people are like, Lisa, how on earth do you have a Mercer foam finger? Well, it's because my niece actually went to college there. And I just thought it would be fun to pick the underdog. But I certainly ribbed my local friends quite a bit. But by far, my biggest March Madness highlight was when my Ohio University Bobcats made Coach um, Brian had to remind me of his name. Coach Roy Williams looked like this because we took them to overtime. We should have beat them. We missed a free throw, but it was a very exciting time. So thank you for humoring me just for a moment as I mourn March Madness. But I am happy to offer some marketing madness to you here today. So Oops, sorry, I skipped ahead there. This is the agenda for the day. I really wanted to focus on just 5 things so that, my friend Jennifer always tells me, just tell me what to do. And these are 5 things that I believe you can do while we are in this crazy time of uncertainty. And I think that, you have to take care of those immediate needs. But I know for my company, we are looking long term. I'm looking at what's going to be effective in September, October, January. What content can create for the short term that I have to get out, but what's content that's going to make sense when things are more stable, whenever that is. But I wanted to talk about some different vehicles I think you can use, some other things you can spend your time doing. I certainly don't think you'll do all of these, but as always, I hope you will find some nuggets of things that you can do that will move your marketing forward. One thing I want to point out is that this webinar that I've put together is a lot of brainstorming on a bunch of different topics. But what I am also launching is a webinar every Wednesday starting next Wednesday for 6 weeks, where I'm going to dive deeper into each of these topics. So if you hear something today and you want more, say on LinkedIn or video, please sign up for those. Those are going to be free as well. I follow a lot of marketing professionals. There's a lot of new things out there. So I am putting those together into webinars to get you the latest and greatest information. So when you get this PDF after the webinar, these are all links that you can go to register for additional webinars for more information. But let's start with content creation. And what does that mean? So the first thing I try to get people to think about when they're developing content is not what you have to sell, it's about your audience. And what are you going to develop for them, not you? So the first thing you have to do is really get to know your audience. And I mean literally sitting down with a piece of paper and saying, who is my ideal client? Who is my ideal customer? And what do they need right now? And that's exactly what I'm doing with these free webinars. The people, my ideal clients, need information. They need tools in their toolkit to know what to do with their marketing. They need ideas and brainstorm because there's so much information coming at them. And so I sat down and said, what does my audience need right now for them? And that is what I am working on. I'm giving it away for free right now. Now, granted, I've got some paid things I'm going to talk to you about later, but I put together 6 free webinars because it's what my audience needs right now. And the goal is know, like, and trust. If you've ever been on one of my trainings before, you hear me say that all the time. If someone is going to buy from you or hire you, they need to know you, they need to like you, and they need to trust you. And there is nothing better than creating really valuable, actionable content for free that you give to them to be able to know and build that trust. So, a couple different ways that you can do that. So right now, write blogs like there's no tomorrow. You've got free time, right? If you're closed or if you're restricted, write away. Sit down with an Excel file and make a list of blog articles that position you as an expert in your industry. Why are blogs so important? Well, one, they build search engine optimization or SEO on your website. So every time you add new content to your website, that's helping. It's great if you're adding content that you wrote that's original to you. That also gives you content for your social media posts and for your newsletters. And you can also look outside of your own industry to write blogs for complementary industries. This is a great time to partner up. One of the things I'm doing is reaching out to chambers and saying, hey, can I help partner with you with free marketing webinars? Because your members need it, and I'm looking to make connections digitally. So I sat down and thought, who can I partner with in order to do that? So maybe if you're an accountant, write a blog article for a financial advisor, an insurance agency. Who do you know in your industry that you can write blogs either together or write a blog and ask them to share, and you do the same, vice versa. So building those relationships and figuring out what can you write, where can you post it, and how is it going to get you out there as a thought leader in your industry. So I mentioned, as far as content, that creating those blog articles, you can drop into newsletters. And, hopefully you're putting out regular newsletters, but this is the time when, you take a look and say, well, how much have I been talking to my people when it wasn't an emergency? Right? Which is what we're in right now. And I can tell you that our team has worked very, very hard at Lisa Perry Social to make sure that this month ahead, which is a little 4-page guide to helping you brainstorm for the next month, it's loaded with ideas. We've been doing that for about the past 6 or 7 months, and there were months it was hard to get it produced because we had lots of other things that we were working on, but we found that there are people that are relying on it. So, developing those newsletters and making them happen consistently is part of what helped. When we sent this email out to register for this webinar, our folks were already engaged, and they're like, yes, we want to learn more from this person because we know, like, and trust them. So, this is just an example of one of our e-newsletters. If you're going to put newsletters out, I think that you can either do them monthly, or if you're going to do them every other week. The combo we sometimes like to do with our clients is a newsletter, maybe has 3 or 5 items. And then in addition to that, you do an e-blast that might have just one call to action item. But if you're not currently doing newsletters, I'm telling you, this is the time to start. Like I said, our email list has grown exponentially over the last few years because we have worked hard at this. And every single registration for this webinar came because of a newsletter. And so when you're looking to sell your products and your services, you want to have a strong newsletter. So there is nothing better than right now to develop a series of content that you can push out to people. And you don't push it all out in the next week. I mean, I'm talking about content that's going to take you from now until the end of the year. You're thinking about what you're going to write in September and October. And if you're in the holidays, what's going to be the holidays, and even what's going to be in January. And, I know there's a lot of uncertainty about what's going to help in the short term, but I also think it's healthy for our psyches to even think ahead and to have content that we think can be evergreen no matter what time we're developing that. So, like I said, newsletters, you can share freebies, you can share blog articles, videos is something we're going to talk about next, putting those out in your newsletters. I also want to show you one of the cool things, like with our constant contact, is you want to make sure you're looking at your analytics. So this is the analytics for this newsletter, and you can see that this art, or the download, the month ahead had 14 unique clicks. And because we enabled click segments or list segmentation, as soon as somebody clicked on that, we had um, automated that to go into a list called LPS interest freebie. So now if I wanted to send an additional email campaign to those 14 people, they're hot leads because I know those are 14 people on my list that are interested in something that I'm putting out. So I can do a targeted email campaign to those particular people. And so, that's really helpful because I can click on this number 14 and see exactly who clicked on that. And then I can market to them further. So taking the time to put out newsletters and then analyze your analytics is a great way for you to do very niche marketing and, really deliver. If that happened to be an Instagram article that they clicked on, I could deliver to them an Instagram product that I have. So I'm not sending them something they're not interested in. I already know that there is some interest in that particular topic, and then I can market to them. So additionally, with content creation, like I said, you can do videos. These are examples of 2 of my friends who are doing messages right now. So if you don't currently have a YouTube or Vimeo account, you can set those up to get started. And I recommend that you put your videos on one of those 2 platforms because then you can share from there to your website. You can also upload your videos directly to Facebook, which is a better thing to do than even to link it to the YouTube. and promote it from there. But I just wanted to show you these two in particular because I love Dan is great at videos at Ellis Jewelers, and he does them all the time. And in this one, he is cleverly washing his hands before he talks to you because he's a jeweler. And people may not be thinking about coming into the store, but this video message is him talking directly to his client saying, listen, these are the precautions we're taking. And granted, he could have put that out in an email, which he probably did as well, but him direct to camera, it's just nice to see him. Right now, people are so secluded, they just love to see somebody live. And so he's sharing his message, um, direct to camera, telling people exactly what's happening in the store. The one to the right is our pastor. Obviously, so many church services have been suspended, and it's just a message from her. And again, it just makes us all feel connected. And any video you can do, granted, these might have been done with a nicer camera, but you can use a smartphone. Absolutely, these videos can be taken on smartphone. They don't have to be professionally edited, but I think it is super valuable for you to get in front of the camera and talk to your customers, especially now. If you really want to go pretty robust with videos, you could spend this time building a YouTube channel. Like I said, you're at home, there's not a lot to do. Start creating a video series. That same suggested scenario where you're writing blog articles, what's a video series that you could put out? What can you teach people to do? How can you show your product or service? This is Sunny Lenarduzzi. She is fantastic teacher of video marketing. And so I've included a link here. She's somebody that you can follow. And you can just see she utilizes playlists. She does great thumbnails. The webinar that I'm going to do on video marketing, I'm going to dive a lot deeper into this, but I wanted to share this particular expert with you in case you're interested in really growing your YouTube channel and doing more with that. Also, I'd recommend that if it's relevant to your industry, if you are a thought leader, if you're a service-based industry, to host webinars, putting your thought leadership to work. You can see I've partnered with the Realtors Council as well as the Chamber, and they have helped me grow my audience through these live webinars. Establish partnerships within your industries who are looking to provide expert advice to their following. Don't be afraid to give some of this information away for free. You need to think about what is my paid knowledge and what is my free knowledge. What is that a knowledge that I have that builds know, like, and trust. And why is this significant? I'm going to show you some examples of list growth from a couple of our clients, but this is what hosting free webinars has done for our list. So service people in service industries, their lists may grow a little slower than, like, say, the gem theater that I'm going to show you. But you can see the spike when I started my webinar series. Added 135 new contacts to my list. Imagine if I'm able to convert even 10 of those people to being clients. But part of it is, let me have them come to something for free, see what I have to offer, learn from me, and then they become part of my community, my learning community. There are people who have learned from me for free for years because they just can't afford marketing. And there are people who have followed me for 5 years before they ever purchased one of my products or hired me as a marketing agency. So, but you can see the spike that hosting webinars has done for me. And like I said, the way I get those people onto my webinars is through Constant Contact, which is our email marketing platform. And so I included a link here if you want to sign up for Constant Contact as we talk about newsletters more. Call us because they usually have a promo like 30% off for 3 months and things like that. But I highly recommend that you look at getting started with a newsletter and the idea of webinars. And then also, this is really pie in the sky, and this has been on my to-do list for over a year and a half, is creating a podcast. Again, you're at home, you've got a lot of time. Start thinking about, does a podcast make sense for me? My friend Jason Huddle is doing a great job with his magazine as a He started a weekly segment podcast. He's been able to sell sponsorships on it. He's even set up a private Facebook group for his podcast. So he's really bringing a lot of value by utilizing a podcast. And so you need to think about, is that something that makes sense for me, as people are listening to podcasts more and more? That's how they're getting their information. And so that might make sense for you as well to create content. Excuse me. Excuse me, I had a cough break there. Anyway, so on to number 2. I hope that gave you a lot of ideas on how to build content, but let's talk about how to build an offer. And what do I mean about that? Well, once again, I am continuing to talk about how to grow your email list. If you know me, like I said, it's one of the most important things I think you can do. And so I've pulled together 3 different types of offers to show you examples of how to do that. Now, all of these offers are things that exist on different websites. And I'm going to start with the why. So this is one of my favorite ones that we've ever done, and it is a 7-day pass to the why. They used to just give these out at the front desk, but the thing is that people are searching online. They're not walking in the front door. And so by putting this one little graphic on their website that's try the Y for free, it leads to a contact form where, in order to get that free pass, they give you their email address. And you can see that this has led to over 6,000 new emails on their email list. I mean, what would you give for 6,000 people on your email list that you could regularly send, information to? And so, you give something for free, you deliver it through email, and you grow your list. And you can see another thing that we did with this is we actually, as time went on, looked at, okay, so of everybody that claimed the 7-day pass, how many actually brought it in? And then we were able to segment those people that didn't bring it in and remarket to them. So that's why you see this second list that is 7-day pass did not use. So within the last, few months, we created an autoresponder that was to those people. That's another marketing email about why you should try the why. And so, but once those people are on your list, you're able to communicate with them. And so you have to have that initial thing on your website that makes someone want to join your list. It can't be just, hey, I have a free newsletter. What's going to be in it? I mean, what is of value to them? What are they going to get out of this? Because we all get so many emails, right? We don't need more. I need ones that are valuable. So make sure that what you're giving away as an offer is valuable to that person. A lot of people don't want to purchase until they've tried it. So the why was really smart to offer this out there. This is an example of then the autoresponder that is sent out. So one of the things I love about Constant Contact is that this whole thing is automated. Nobody on their staff has to do anything with it. The person goes on the website, they claim the offer, then they get a series of emails. First one sends immediately after the contact is added to the list. You can see here at the top. And then the second one, have you visited yet, goes out 10 days later. So we have 2 emails. They're different. This one, the second one, includes more links. And, this is all automated, which is a really great feature because once you set these up, they're running on your behalf. And so anything that can save a small business time is something that I love. Another offer I wanted to show you is the Gem Theater. Instead of just saying, hey, join my email list, so I can just send you movie times, we offer a Gem movie prize pack. And so whenever somebody signs up, we then will periodically pull somebody from the email list and give them 4 tickets, 4 small popcorns, 4 small drinks, and 4 candies. I mean, who wouldn't want to win that, right? Well, that has led to 4,000 people over the past several years have joined their email list. And so, but again, it was because of how we worded it, what we offered, These are the ways that you grow your list, is by giving them value or giving them information that they know they're going to benefit from. And that's why they're willing to get on your list. The GEMS email list is now over 13,000. The WISE is over 30,000. When we started with the GEM, their list was 200. And so it takes work over time, but you have to do consistent offers that bring value to the person that you're reaching out to. And if you're in a service industry, this is what we call gated content. I mentioned the month ahead earlier, but what we do is have this on our website. All we ask for is your name and email, and then you can grab that PDF and download it. Gated means it's behind a gate, and that gate is your email address. That's what you need to give us in order for us to give you this free resource. But that can be checklists, ebooks, cheat sheets. In addition to having these offers on your website, you can even run Facebook ads to promote them. But this is a time, again, where people are going to be at home. They're going to be on the internet more than ever. They're going to be in their social media feeds more than ever. What free content can you put into a 4-page PDF or a checklist about your industry that people can download, and you can grow your email list and continue to nurture them into being future clients? So that's what you can think about. This is an example of the emoji cheat sheet that we did. We created this in Canva, which is one of the things I'm going to share with you today if you haven't heard of that. But it's my favorite graphic creating tool. But it's a valuable resource. We spent some time on this, but this is evergreen. There are people who just, to them, emojis are not natural. So we go through everything, how to use them, secret little tips that you can learn from this ebook. But this was something that we could offer to somebody and as a resource. And so gated content is definitely, I think, something that every website should have. So a great use of your time right now can be any type of information that you can give to people that they can download from your website so you can grow your email list. Okay, moving on to the third thing that you can do while you are in social distancing is enhance your social profiles, right? This is the thing that we never have time to do. Well, guess what? All got a little extra time right now. So let's start with Facebook. One of the things you may not realize is that if you have a business page, you can actually view the page as a visitor. And I recommend that you do that because when you are an admin of your page, you see all these extra things that kind of cloud um, your page, and you don't really see it as a business. So this is what our Perry Productions page looks like as a visitor. So if you go to that tab, the 3 dots, and change it to see as visitor, you'll see at the top it says this is what your page looks like to a visitor. And then there's an option to switch it back so you can manage it. But one of the things I really want you to look for on your page is what I've circled over here to the right is your story. Do you have a story over there, or is that blank? If you're logged in as the admin, that will show up as like a gray box. But it's basically like a little blog article about your company. And I highly recommend that you fill it out because, again, when somebody comes to this, it's like their first impression. And so, you want to make sure that you get that filled out. I've showed you over here on the left-hand side, if you go to your about, that's another section that you want to make sure that is fully filled out. That's where you can edit that story, but you can also add in information about your business. Make sure all this is current. People use this for information about your business. So this is a good time to just go visit your social media profiles as if you were a visitor. And is there any improvement that you can make? Any way that you can enhance these? Any changes that have happened that you haven't updated and that you need to do? Also, LinkedIn is another one that I recommend that you go over and enhance that profile. A lot of people's LinkedIn still look like resumes, But when you're working for a company, you want to make it a marketing page. I always like to say everybody in the company is on the marketing team. And so make sure that your contact info is updated, your icons show up. You can see how clean mine looks because there's nothing that's missing an icon. Even my Ohio University and my Perry Productions, everything looks clean. It has its logos. I also always recommend that you use a creative headline instead of your job title for underneath your name. So instead of being CEO and president, I changed mine to marketing strategist, website developer, speaking dynamo, 2016 Small Business of the Year. I've let people know 4 things about me and what I do and how I can help you. You get a lot of characters with LinkedIn. Use every one of them. Let people know what it is you do because those things are also searchable. So if somebody's searching for market strategist, they're going to find me. They're not going to find, they're nobody's searching for CEO or president. So, utilize that area to amp that up a bit. Certainly fill out your about section. You can move sections around. Doesn't really matter where you were last employed. Where are you employed right now? And tell me about that company and tell me about what you do for that company, especially if you're in sales. You want to really talk about the company that you work for. And then lastly, have you included videos or images or downloads? You can see down here at the bottom, I've included a couple of my marketing minutes so that people can learn more about me. So, your LinkedIn profile, especially when somebody links in with you for the first time, is like a little mini website for your business. So make sure that it's filled out. And this downtime that we have is a great time for you to do that. And then lastly, Instagram. Head over there and again, visit that page as if you are a visitor. So, does your Instagram profile look as fun as this one does? And now maybe your industry is not fun, okay? But emojis in Instagram profiles, I love them. I mean, no matter what your industry is, because it just looks more visually appealing. And that's why you might want to download the emoji cheat sheet so you know how to use emojis. I love to use them as bullets. I like to, section things off so it's not just all text. But you get a certain amount of characters here for your description. So use them creatively. We wanted to make sure that we got across that this is a historic theater. They do show recent releases because sometimes people think the historic theaters just show non-current movies. And then the prices. I mean, you cannot beat their prices. So we made sure we got the ticket price in as well as concessions. And then additionally, make sure you have a call to action, which is a link to your website, or we use Linktree, which is a service where you can actually go to like kind of a mini web page that has a bunch of links. So make sure you fill this out totally. And then lastly, do you have any highlights and do they look uniform and professional like these do? All of these icons except the one in the middle were created in Canva with free graphics. I just searched for ones that I thought made sense and we created these for free. Now, you'll probably see lots of Instagram profiles that have very professional, clearly custom highlight icons, but you can make these for free using something like Canva. I've also suggested to people to use 123RF, which is a very low cost stock photography website. And in that, they often have logo sheets or icon sheets where they have a bunch of similar. So if you're like in the travel industry, they might have a whole bunch of icons like a cruise ship and an airplane and things like that. So, there's lots of different ways that you can create these highlights. But the highlights, if you don't know a lot about Instagram, are made from Instagram stories. There are archives of that. But a lot of people who like to be on Instagram and stay on Instagram and don't want to go to your website want to learn about you while you're here. So I like to think about those highlights as menu items on your webpage. What do you want people to know about your business? And so, that's something else you can be working on enhancing on that particular social media profile during this kind of in between phase. So, number 4, let's move on to learning some new social media skills. Again, this is a time to take advantage of learning something new, sharpening your social media skills, your marketing skills, because, like I said, everybody to some degree is in marketing. Even if you are with a big company and there's a marketing department, it's still good to know these things, especially if you're a small business and everybody has to pitch in and do marketing. It's important that you know how to do a lot of these things. So, like I mentioned earlier, Canva is one of my absolute favorite tools. It is free, it has a paid version. My company pays for it only because with the paid version, you can actually share your creations with each other as a team. So, if you're a one person show, you don't really need that. You can definitely get by with the free version. But if you're a bigger team, and my husband is a graphic designer, and so he can create graphics for me. However, we sometimes have so much volume, or we just need to create graphics quickly, that this is a great program for us to do that. You can see on the right here just some of the templates that we have. So for things that we do over and over again, like the month ahead, it's really nice to have a template created, and we can just go back to that all the time. We also have templates for our blog posts, for Facebook and Instagram. So these are big time savers that once you create them, they're in Canva, and those designs stay there, and you can just update them as needed. But because I want you to spend this time learning some new skills, I've actually included the link to Canva's design school, and they've got a series of videos that walk you through how to use Canva. Lots of good information for here. Like I said, this is a business that I am very impressed with, that I recommend to everybody, that it can really help you create those professional branded graphics that you need to be successful on social media. So everything doesn't look disjointed, and it can look very branded to your business. Another new skill that I would love for you to learn, and this is just flat out fun. Get it? Flat out fun is Flatlays. And you may not know what these were even called. You probably see them all the time, but it's literally like a picture taken from above. I love them. I think they're so cool and they're fun to create. Um, and it also gives you an original image every time. So if you're producing that blog content and you just don't have a photo that makes sense, you can create one like this. And that's exactly what we did. Is we needed a picture to go with a blog article that we had just written. One of the things, a couple of the advice that I give when doing flat lays, is I like for things to kind of bleed off the page. You don't want everything to be in the picture, because one, it gets zoomed out too far, and if you look at flat lays, they're zoomed in at about this angle and of closeness, and you can see how we've just kind of cut off the binder, even the phone, and it just kind of makes it feel like there's more happening outside of it. But I focus in on the stuff in the center. Another thing you need to think about with flat lays is having good lighting. So you want to, shoot this by by a window, a well lit room, or if you have some lighting on hand, you can use that as well. We bought a really nice lighting setup for about $100 that we use all the time for videos and photo shoots. So you don't have to spend a ton of money, but if you're going to do a lot of them, that's an expense you might want to do. But otherwise, this is literally a piece of white foam core that we got at I think it was CVS. And sometimes we'll actually stand one up on the side next to it to like get the light to shine just the way we want it. But just literally laying it on a white background or a colored solid background is the best way to do that. And then just to have some fun with the photo shoot. Now I'm going to show you how we did this. This is Abby, who works with us, and you would never be able to tell, right, from that picture that she was standing up on a chair in our conference room taking this picture. But I just think it's so cool to see how this was done. Um, and yet you can see the end result. And now, granted, she could have put that on the floor, but she wanted to get the light from the windows at that time. And so, that's how she was able to create that photo. So like I said, this is not difficult to do. You don't have to use a fancy Canon camera like we have. You can do it with your iPhone. So create those awesome flat lays. I like this one where you can even use a colored background that really pops, especially in a social media feed. So play around with it, but you can see the same kind of concept of, what is this article talking about? What is the effect that I want to give? And kind of go from there. So encourage you to spend some time while you're stuck indoors, get your kids involved, make some amazing flat lays. And if you do, please send them to me because I would love to see them. Some other skills to learn is Instagram stories. I hear from a lot of people, either they don't know Instagram, they might be comfortable in Facebook, but don't know Instagram very well, and certainly don't venture up to the top and play around with Instagram stories. But if you were on my webinar at the beginning of the year, I told you about ephemeral content, which is disappearing content, Facebook and Instagram stories. um, is where people are spending the most time. 15 times more uh, time is spent now on Instagram stories. So you really need to get there. So you might need to learn that as a new skill. And this could be a good time to do that. So I wanted to give you some examples about the types of stories that you can share. Taking your followers behind the scenes. This was one of my most popular ones was my dog, bringing him to work. Pro tip, followers love, love, love your pets. And so involve them any way you can. You definitely don't want to just be selling on your stories. You really want to share life at your company, how you do your work, and really make people feel engaged with you. You can also promote your blog content, like we did. Do you notice that flat lay? Yep, it was for that article about navigating your Instagram homepage. So that's how we used that to promote a blog article. Using engagement stickers, like I said, if you come to the Instagram webinar that I'm going to do in a few weeks, I'll talk a lot more about this. But engagement stickers are definitely where I always recommend small businesses spend their time because it gets people involved. I love Southern Strain Brewing Company here in town. They were using their Instagram so well, especially during their grand opening. Using a Q&A, where can I get stickers? And then they saved these onto their highlights. So when people came, they could see all the questions and answers. They're using it now to promote curbside pickup because they've shut down. They're still trying to do business. So different ways of using your Instagram stories to promote your services and to engage your audience. These are a couple other recent stories that are happening. Given the changes that we've had, is the YMCA is surveying followers about videos because they're going to some since the Y is currently closed, asking people, what do you want to see? What videos would you like to see for youth sports? Getting that feedback, it keeps their people engaged with them, but it also gives them a heads up back to item number one of what type of content they should be creating and where they should be spending their time. And the folks at Dream on 3, I'm sharing again the behind the scenes, what's happening. Hey guys, we're still here working, maybe a little differently, but we are still working to make dreams come true. So showing that behind the scenes activity is really important with stories. One of the things that I love using stories for is with the polls, because when you do a poll, you can then share the results. And so, one, it gets people engaged with you. And so, we had the idea with the GEM to do a poll because we wanted to, get our followers involved, but we also wanted to promote the fact that our prices are really low. And so, we asked the question, how well do you know the gem? Tickets before 6 p.m. are always either $4 or $6. Well, either one of these is less than you'll pay at the mall or at a big superplex. But you can see on the right, 95% of people realized it was $4. So we got people engaged. We re-emphasized the fact that tickets are only $4, and we got people involved. So this is a great way to highlight a feature of your service or product. You can get really creative with these. You can actually see how people voted. So Instagram Stories just has so much potential. I actually created an online workshop so you can learn how to do this. So I'm going to tell you a little bit more about that at the end of the webinar, but I would highly recommend that you take the time to work through this workshop and learn how to use Instagram stories, because it's just so valuable to every business. I use tons of examples for inspiration, but it's just something that I think people need step-by-step instructions to really grasp it if it's not something that you're familiar with and you've used before. And then lastly, I wanted my number 5 to be outside of social media, because I mentioned how much digital marketing ties back to your website, is take this time, this downtime, to review your current website. um, Here's a couple things that you may not realize, and these are things that we look at when we're talking to a client about doing their website. Is, do you know where your domain names are hosted, which is your www.lisaperrysocial.com? Do you know the usernames and passwords, and do you know when they renew? We've had lots of people come to us and say, I forgot to renew my website, or the renewal went to somebody's email address who doesn't work for our company anymore, and their websites have disappeared. And if you don't renew that website, someone else can buy it. So you really want to make sure that you have that recorded for your business, and you know what it is, you know where it is, and you know those usernames and passwords. Something else you want to look at is your site secure? And what do I mean by that? Well, when you go to a website and you see HTTPS, there's that S on the end, that means that that site is secure, and it has an SSL certificate attached to it. So why is that important? Well, it used to be way back when, if you were taking payments or something like that on a website, you had to have an SSL certificate. Now, Google wants every website that's legitimate to have an SSL certificate. Um, they cost about $125 a year, but basically this image on the far right is what folks may see if they go to your website and it doesn't have an SSL certificate attached. So that certainly is not the experience you want somebody to have when they come to your website. So I highly recommend that you invest the money to have an SSL certificate attached to your site. Like I said, it is an annual fee, but it is really important that you have it. Um, and then check for broken links. I've included a URL that you can actually go to and plug your website into and run a broken link check. I ran my friends at the Wise website on here because they're actually getting ready to relaunch their website. But one of the things that they did recently was they merged and changed their name. And so you can see down here at the bottom that they're everywhere that they have a Facebook link is actually broken on their website right now, because that name has changed. And so, this is a way that you can go find those broken links and just say to yourself, oh my gosh, I didn't even connect that I changed my Facebook name, therefore I need to change that on my website. But your website's ranking can greatly be affected by how many broken links you have. So this is another thing that you can do. Go to your website as a visitor and just look through it and run some of these checks, so that you can kind of see what visitors are seeing, and spend this time revamping it. The one thing I recommend before you do that is looking at your Google Analytics. And first thing, if you don't know if you have Google Analytics, get Google Analytics attached to your website, because you really want to be looking at activity on your site. This is an example of the gems. And so one of the things I would look at here is, okay, people are staying on the site for about a minute. Everything else looks pretty good. We're getting lots of sessions. I like to look over here and say, okay, so sessions by source, where are people coming from on the site? And the number one source is Charlotte, kidsabout.com. 550 sessions have initiated from that resource. So that tells me, wow, I need to connect with those folks and make sure they have good information about my company because they're a big referrer for me. And so, you want to look for where that happens. In addition to that, the next three are all Facebook because we're active on Facebook. That's why those are ranking high. We certainly want to continue that activity on social media. And then Linktree, as I mentioned, that's Instagram. So even Instagram is initiating 63 sessions. And I usually pull this data for about a quarter. You can look at it monthly, at least look at it once a quarter. But these are just a few stats that you can look at so that you can see where people how people have gotten to your site from referred sites. And another stat I like to look at on Google Analytics is page views because this shows which pages people are going to the most. The first one is a slash, that's just your home page, but then outside of that, you can see the show times. Obviously, is their second ranking one. But then I like to dive down and see, okay, a lot of people go to the now playing, the tickets, the concessions, the history, and then I'll go and visit those pages. And again, visit them as a visitor experience. Can you add a call to action item on the concession page that leads over to buy tickets? Or can you, put something on the event page space that is a contact form so people can contact you right away to get event space? So looking at your analytics gives you some insight into what else could your website be doing for you. I often tell people to think about the questions and answer, or the questions that you get all the time, those frequently asked questions. What of those can you answer on your website? And so people know, and then what is the call to action that you're giving them? So definitely recommend spend some time with your Google Analytics. And another thing you can do is just Google yourself. So go to Google, type in your company name, or type in what you want somebody to search to find you, and then see what they see. So this is great. Our website shows up. Wonderful. Over here to the right is your Google My Business page. So if this is not coming in, if this doesn't have photos, that may be something that you want to claim because you can edit all of this information. You can actually do posts through Google My Business. These might be photos that are old. In fact, this photo here is from when we were at Synergy Office Suite. So just me doing this exercise for myself says, hey, I need to get some pictures of my new offices in here and get those updated. So anytime you do something like this, you can find ways that you can improve your digital presence. And I think this is a great opportunity for you to do this. And also, just lastly, write some fresh content for your site. Visit each of the pages. Are your services all still the same? Have you added some? Enhance some? How can you make your website better? And this is a good time for you to do that. So in summary, we've looked at content creation, building an offer, enhancing your social profiles, learning new social media skills, and reviewing your current website. So I feel like I've given you at least 2 months of to-do items here. So you should be able to keep super busy during however long we're going to be in the situation we're in right now. But stay connected with me. These are my social media profiles. Would love, again, like I said, I've got a 6-week webinar series coming up, but these are links to my website, my social media. Highly recommend that you join my Facebook group. I'm looking at, I've just revamped this, and I want to start showing up in here with Facebook Lives to answer your questions about marketing, for you to share some of your campaigns with me, looking for feedback. So definitely encourage you to join this group that I'm going to use more and more to stay connected with folks who are looking for marketing advice. What we've also added here just in the last few days, because I've had a lot of requests since I can't meet with people in person, is we're offering one-on-one 90-minute consulting sessions for half the price. Normally, I would charge $250 for that. We're going to do these for $125. We're going to do them via GoToMeeting. They include a pre-consultation questionnaire that you'll fill out for me, and then I'll do 30 minutes of analysis on your current social media prior to that appointment. So you can actually go to my website and see what available time slots I have and go ahead and sign up for those. Because, like I said, I'm making myself available to help people as they're doing planning. So you're welcome to take the free information that I gave you and run with it, or we can sit down together and kind of develop a plan to help you take advantage of this time to enhance your marketing. We also offer website development. We offer full and partially managed digital marketing. So lots of services that we have. You're welcome to email me. As I mentioned before, I would highly recommend that you take this online workshop. One, honestly, it's just going to be fun. It is so fun to learn something new. It's video based, so you get to spend more time with me. There are 6 different modules. This is just an example of one with the basics, but I literally walk you through every single thing that you do on Instagram stories. Planning, the basics, engagement stickers. Engagement stickers alone is worth the price of this because there is so much engagement that you can do when you connect with people. And I think in this period that we're in, that's going to be more vital than ever. Also, give tips on time savers and definitely how to look at your insights. The course is valued at $575. Normally it's $127. But when I do webinars like this, I always offer attendees a discount for a week. So you can sign up for this for only $97. And like I said, you're going to get 2 hours of videos, and it's going to teach you step by step exactly how to do stories. Feel free to visit the website link, use the coupon code MADNESS before next Friday so that you can get that discount. This is my dear friend Jennifer. I always like to share a testimonial. She said, Lisa's advice helped me have the courage to find my voice and put it out on social media. And I will tell you, I helped Jennifer click new account on Instagram. That's how nervous she was to do it. But she told me the other day just how it has become such an outlet for her to connect with people. But what I love is she says in this quote is she also taught me the strategies and time saving techniques so I could fit it into my busy schedule as a working mother. And that's really important to me. I've worked with small businesses and nonprofits for 25 years, and I understand the limitations of time and money. And that's why creating these online courses has become such a passion for me because I really want people to learn how to do this for themselves and for their businesses. So I want to thank you all for attending. You took time to be here today. You learned lots of new things about social media trends. Oh, Brian just corrected me. The coupon code is actually going to be March. Brian said, sorry. So I will put that out in an email. So, but if for any reason it doesn't work, just please feel free to email me. But he said the coupon code is actually going to be March. But anyway, my biggest message to you is that you spend an hour, take action, do something that you learned today, maybe do more than one. If you have any questions, please feel free to email those to me. Reach out with anything. Brian, are there any questions on there? Okay, great. Well, thank you so much. And please, please, please go sign up for those other webinars. Like I said, I'm going to dive deeper into the individual platforms. So if there are some that you're specifically interested in, please sign up for those. Again, they're going to be recorded. So if for any reason you're not available at noon on Wednesdays, you can still get all that information. So thank you. Take care of yourselves. Stay in touch with me. And I look forward to talking with all of you again soon.